If you're a man, you don't cry about it. You take life, the ups and downs. If you're a real man, you never go down, you just stay up. That's why this sport coat costs $800 and that costs $200. And I don't know what that costs, I'd be ashamed to wear it. That's why I'm wearing lizard shoes and a Rolex watch.
Importing it, snorting it, any competition extorting it, anything I want affording it, got enough crack to get four to hit, turn a saint to a sinner, lose to a winner, whether old school or upbeat, getting my shit's the best, Rick's the best, have your heart beating right out your chest, that Ric Flair like, woo! That Ric Flair like, woo! This is all I do, I got that Ric Flair like, woo! Woo! Styling, profiling, that Ricky make a girl go, woo!
You've reached Goblin and Ogre.
Oh, thank God you're dead. And I notice you're outside the gates, not in.
And as you can see, I'm still in line.
Yes.
waiting to get processed. It's just like, I have no doubt that fucking heaven or the afterlife,
Yeah,
purgatory is a lot like Service Ontario.
just
You know what I
lines.
mean? Oh, and with a bunch of different like types of nationalities.
Yeah,
and they
yeah,
all
yeah.
smell bad. So weird. So I had to get my passport renewed recently because I lost it.
So you get to fly back home first?
What was that?
I'm calling you an immigrant. I said you had to fly back home first. Yeah. Anyway, you lost your passport and you need a new one. Okay.
Just standing in the lineup, waiting to get in, and it's just a variety of people, just a mix. It's so
Yeah.
immigrated, and you go like, oh, immigration's great, people say that, but then you look at it, you mingle with it,
Yeah.
and it's pretty irritating quick.
You know what's
And the people that work at Service Ontario are also equally as like, if not
irritating?
more annoying.
You know,
And you can't ask them why. Like, well, why do I have to do this? Because my passport was lost, but it was given back to a police station. And then from the police station, it was sent to like some passport agency. So they had it. So it wasn't lost anymore. They
just give
had
it to me. Yeah.
Just give it to me.
Look at
Instead,
the
they made me
face.
go through this whole renewal process.
Wow, because you got
I had to pay like $200. Yeah, just to get my
that's why they
passport
did
renewed.
it. It's just money. Yeah.
It's just money. Yeah.
It's just like when they say
so fucking
the like speed cameras. Oh, that's to keep people safe. No, speed bumps keep people safe. Speed cameras make money.
Well, speed bumps remind people like they're kind of like they give you a lesson.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like where if you're going too quickly over one. You ever like get really mad at yourself? Like
Yes.
when I've gone over speed bumps and I could feel that inner part of my tire hit, like that fucking like that little almost ding. Like I'm like, I know that feels like I caused damage. I get mad at myself. It's like having a really messy asshole. Like after you shit, you ever like
it's
wipe
only
your
your
ass
fault.
and you look at it and it's
Yeah.
so much, and you're just like, this is too much, man. What the fuck's wrong with me? What's in my diet? I get mad. Yeah, because I have to pull my sleeves up on my shirt so that I don't get like I don't get my
It
laundry
looks like you were
stand.
just drinking barbecue sauce.
Yeah, it just like I feel the need to cover to protect my my wrists where the clothes are. Yeah, because sometimes it could get a little bit disastrous. I get mad at myself. I'm saying.
I have three speed bumps. This is part of the problem because I'm not sure. I have 3 speed bumps in my building, like the parking lot that leads to where I park. And talking about getting mad at yourself, you know how often I live here. I'm here every day, and how often I forget about one of those 3 and I just zoom over it. And I've had 2 wheel issues with my car, and I know why.
I think there's a bigger it's like not conspiracy. I don't want to say I don't want to be that guy all the time, but I mean the thought of the 3 in your apartment building, and that's unnecessary because you admittedly just said you still forget one and speed over, and so it's not like you're learning a lot. You're just what this is trying to do is it's trying to damage your car.
I've heard
So
this
these
theory.
things are there. I believe the mechanic shops or whatever are in cahoots, if you will, with whoever designs or lays out traffic
Sh-
sort of like regulation blocks.
Sure, maybe not
So
the
I
small ones, but like, you know,
well, yeah,
the
the
big
one
ones, the
well, I
big
mean,
companies.
speed bumps really fuck you up if you're not paying attention.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's really
And
bad for your
that's not
car.
the and I think that in itself is more unsafe, than let's say those speed bumps not being there.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, what was I gonna say? Uh, yeah, anyway, you had your passport, and yeah, they made you pay for it. So you got it now or
Oh yeah, I got it now.
oh, what? That's
But
what I was gonna say.
I got it for another 10 years. So it's like
Yeah, yeah, you
renewed. I
had to
still
do the
had
10.
3 years on the old one.
So you got
So I
gypped out
feel
of
like I'm
three
owed
years.
3 years. I'm owed
Yeah,
a
yeah.
3 year discount.
They should have had
I feel, but
a prorated discount of 3 years. Like,
yeah, but they didn't do any of that. So yeah, but I mean now I have it. And just having to go to fucking Scarborough. Dude, I've never traveled to Scarborough Town Center before.
oh, really?
Oh, dude, what a sad ride that is.
Like on the
Like,
subway line?
not just subway, like
Oh, because you're
leaving the
coming from the other
subway,
way. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
and then you take the express, like streetcar to from fuck, I forget the station, Castle, no, not Castle Frank, I
That's fine.
forget
It's
it,
closer to me.
but
Yeah.
what's it called? Just the ride after the subway. Oh, there's a guy that just jumped on some old dude, like just bitching and like moaning, like, "What do you mean it doesn't stop here?
Yeah,
Like, what if
yeah,
I tell you to stop?" And it's just like, it's the express,
yeah.
dude. They
What
don't
if I
stop.
tell you to stop?
Yeah, yeah,
That's
just
something you only
screaming.
are able to say if you pull out a gun and hold it to his head and say, "What if I tell you to stop?
Yeah,
Otherwise, shut
exactly.
up."
Uh-huh. It's yeah, and I've been there before. I've been that guy. I've been like,
Yeah.
why can't you just let me off here? And it's literally a red light. And
Yeah,
like,
that
of
happened to
course
me.
he can't let me out, but I'm
Yeah,
desperately trying to get off the shit.
yeah. I,
So you're like,
I,
we won't press charges if something happens to me. Just let me off here. Oh, I've been at war at times with the TTC, just fucking face to face with some driver, fucking yelling at each other.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's
No, I've been there before too. You're just staring. You're like, "Oh, fuck, my house is right there. I know this is an express, but we're at a red light. Just do this. That's it. That's all you gotta do, and I'm off."
yeah.
I
And
think
they're
they
just like,
think.
yeah,
I
they're
think.
just drivers.
Yeah,
At the end
yeah,
of the day, they're just drivers, and but because they have like a link to, oh, I'm a government employee,
yeah.
yeah, they thank their authority. So that's why they comfortably get in your face because they know the government has their back.
Has their back. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, pretty much.
That government job. Everyone who I have ever known who worked like either government adjacent or government directly, they're supposed to like be the most powerful feeling. Like it feels great because it's not
Mm,
the power of getting things done. It's the power of not letting people get things done. Like you could say
sure.
no. It's the power of no. That's what a government job. That's how I understand it to be. Like even what I do during the day, like HR or whatever. Um, I'm HR admin, so the real HR people would tell me do this thing, and I had to do it, right? My coworker used to work for the government, and she says, uh, when you work for the government and those people tell you do this thing and can you do it quickly? You go, no, I can't. And then you just don't do it quickly. You have to do it eventually, but she's like, you can take as long as you want. Nobody's allowed to rush you if you work for the government.
Yeah, and I don't know. It's I feel icky. Like
Dealing
sometimes,
with the
like when you
government.
have like I feel gross, like when you actually have power and someone abuses it. I've been watching this Making a Murderer thing. I know I'm
Yeah.
late.
To the game
I
of
know like
making murder.
Making Murder's been
Yeah,
around for a
yeah,
long time.
yeah.
I just got into
Right after you're gonna watch Prison Break. What's
yeah,
this?
yeah, I just got into Star Wars recently, man.
Yeah. Have you heard of this
It's
movie?
wild. It's crazy. It's pretty cool.
Citizen Kane? It's weird. It's wild.
I think it's showing some Oscars, man. But no, I don't know. Like I think uh that whole feeling of power, like, and knowing you have it over someone.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's fun to have that over a girlfriend. Um, but just like
Okay.
sometimes over a regular person, I'm like, this guy's gonna rise up and stab me in the throat.
Oh.
I, it's weird. I'm not
What?
comfortable telling just the average man. I think I've just been around too long at this point. I've I've seen some things in media and entertainment, and with Luigi going around
Mangione? Yeah.
murdering like a
Insurance?
guy who's super rich and in charge of a cutthroat company, and everybody praising it. You can't comfortably just tell people what to do anymore
Yeah.
without expecting for sure some type of ramification that's detrimental to your health. But I guess like if that means to live comfortably, like to be a boss, and yeah, I'll die, I'll get murdered for sure, but at least until I get murdered,
I'm comfortable.
I'll
Well,
live
that's what like the
comfortably.
mafia is. They,
Yeah, I guess.
if you join like the mafia, 90% of them are killed. 90%.
Yeah,
That's a high
yeah.
number. And still you go, yeah, but until they were killed, life was good.
I think you have to divide it between, listen, if I get a perfect like little safe desk job, I'm still killing myself every day, but
Yeah,
just slowly. And
yeah. Yeah.
I'm gonna get the money. Like, let's say I'm gonna get my annual salary 70K. I could do the right thing and get my 70K at the end of the year, taxed on top of that, and or get 70K in an afternoon by doing some grisly shit to people.
Yeah.
Like working with a criminal organization. Then
That froze. I'm gonna keep.
so what do you, but I know that's gonna make me die
Yeah,
quicker
yeah.
sooner. Because like you watch those movies where uh somebody did something wrong to somebody, and then there's a revenge plot, and then that person who uh you know was seeking revenge kills the bad guy, but
Yeah.
now who he killed somebody cared about.
Yeah.
So now they're gonna revenge
They're gonna
plot
revenge.
on.
Yeah.
So it's always, if you kill somebody, there's blood on your. The thing, there's blood on your hands means you can't rinse it off. You're marked. You know what I mean? Like you're. So if
Yeah.
somebody comes around and kills you, well, what do you expect? There's blood on your hands too.
There's
So
that's a part of
yeah,
the movies though that they never you would if unless they come out with a second one, that never comes up. Like, for example, if your brother killed my brother, I would kill
yeah,
your brother. But
yeah.
then movie
I would
two
kill you.
would be you
Yeah,
killing me.
yeah. I have
Yeah.
to.
And then my cousin would kill you after
Yeah, and
that.
then Charlie Paradise would kill your cousin
Yes. Oh, is
because
Charlie
Charlie's got
Paradise your
my
next
back.
in line to your brother?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, exactly. Um, we should mention,
Yes,
speaking
I
of
was
one of
gonna
our
do that next.
brothers, uh, Matt Baxter has decided to quit the podcast. He's starting his own. It's Christ Billionaire. I'm jealous about the name. I
That's the
think that's a
name. That
great
is a
name
good
for a
name.
podcast. Christ
That's there's
Billionaire Podcast.
I can't even be mad at that.
He's on his coach master thing. He's doing his own thing. He felt that is wants to start his own project,
Yeah, yeah.
and he should. I think it's going to be great because I'm welcome to be on it whenever I want. So
You
it's going to
are.
be awesome. You should tune into that more than this podcast. No, yeah. So he quit, and we wish
Yeah.
him well. And that's how I think about it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I feel the same way. I wish him well. That is a great name. Um, I assume I'm not gonna get the same invite to be on the podcast soon. Probably take some time, but uh
No,
either way, I
no,
wish him
it
well.
should definitely take some time because that would be a great episode. Like when it eventually comes.
When it eventually
Yeah. You have to give this time to, gather its flavors, you know? It's got to age well.
You really?
Yeah, because now it's got to be like, oh, these two hate each other.
I
Yeah, we
don't.
gotta.
I definitely
Yeah.
that was one thing from the last episode. That was not my intention. I disagreed with some stuff, but I think I thought about it since then. I also just had I think I had a lot on my mind in terms of things I wanted to disagree with the way people deal with each other and stuff like that. Because recently I even hung out with another friend who I would imagine is almost like the opposite viewpoint of uh Matt, I guess, or whatever. And I also had my issues with that, you know? And I realized like I just in trying to like give my side of things, things got a little heated. But it's like it's because I'm like that. Even my friend recently, I was like, yeah, just people think I sit on the fence, but I just haven't. And he's like, you are a fence sitter, so he's mad at me too. But that's just like,
I mean, it's because what I think it is, like there have been times where you're not a complete fencer on everything. I've seen you like hold a position down on like I no, I don't. I believe in this. This is
yeah,
what it
yeah, yeah,
is, and you can't convince me otherwise. But that whole like trying to look at it both ways, almost playing both sides to a degree. I mean, yeah, like it's annoying because like people like sometimes, especially if they're having conversation with you, they want to come to a like a conclusion. They want you to either disagree with them or agree with them. When they're talking to somebody who is like is both ways, then there's no satisfying way to end a conversation with that person. But I go like, but that's perfect for a podcast. Nobody just wants to just be around somebody that just agrees with them all the time.
yeah.
And then we're just going like, yes, I think that too. You think that too? Yes, I think that
I
too.
think that, yeah,
And there's no challenge in it. So I'm like, but part of like being that person is you're gonna annoy people
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah.
they want to convince you. They're almost like, hey, how do you not see it my way? I'm
And
clearly right,
and I'll
you know?
admit, I do that
And if you
sometimes to
don't
people.
agree with them, then they get annoyed because not like you don't agree with them, but you also don't agree with the other opposing view. You're just kind of you're like,
I
I don't
won't.
know what it is.
I don't. I don't like the idea of playing both sides. I was always just like, I'm that guy that I think this is going too far this way, and this is going too. So it's not that I'm agreeing with both sides, but it's my argument is there's a third side, and to me, though, both sides don't see the third side because they don't
With
think
the
it's even
healthy
possible.
middle,
Yeah, healthy middle. Yeah, for a lot of things, not everything. You're right. There's some stuff that I think are
but
outrageously wrong.
but some people feel too passionately about whatever they believe in at times where if you challenge somebody with your point of view and it ridicules their point of view, like in the process of explaining yourself, so they feel threatened, they feel
Yeah,
like, oh, are you calling me an idiot? Or are you calling me crazy? You go, well, probably, yeah, because I
I
think
believe
way
the
differently
opposite.
than you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But then people get so defensive because they feel under attack because when you go like, no, I don't agree with anything that you are, they go
Yeah,
like,
yeah,
well,
yeah.
why the fuck not? And it's an easy thing to get riled up about. But ultimately you go, it's fun to disagree with people. It's fun to hate people, for even things as silly as like just I don't know, like taste in movies. Like if I know like Alex DeWitt, like anybody that goes online and makes a top 10 list about these are my favoriteest movies, you know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, and James Thomason too. Like people like that, like those posts really irritate me. Like,
Okay.
I don't know why. Mark McNally's guilty of this shit as well. Like,
I'm guessing you
we're
don't watch
all,
Mojo.
I just watch anything and I
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
have
yeah.
any opinion that I think on any movie that I think
Really?
should be mentioned in public. It's fun to talk about, but to put it out there, these are my official top tens. You go, shut up. Like it's
I
but I'll fight for the right to do it.
to do. Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
still,
But it
it's
still
annoying.
annoys you. It makes you sick.
Yeah,
I I I'd be guilty. I watch top 10 lists once in a while. But
yeah.
the funny thing about a top 10 list is I only watch it to make me mad because
Mm.
I know if I watch top 10 greatest movies of all time, they're not going to put my favorite movie as number one, and then I'm just going to get mad. and that's why I
Well, that's
watch it.
fine. I don't think that's bad because like you went looking for these top 10 lists as opposed to people like who I just mentioned just give you their list. Like, you didn't
Yeah.
go looking for just because you follow them. Now you have to sit through what they think is the funniest like comedy movie of 2004.
This
And
is a very specific list.
and I'll read the list, but I'll be
Yeah,
annoyed that I'm reading it
yeah.
because that's when I know I'm truly wasting my time
Yeah,
and my
yeah. You
life.
feel there's
And
no contribution to society by reading somebody's top 10 list of greatest
no,
comedies of
especially if I didn't go
2004.
looking for it. Yeah,
Yeah,
like I just go
yeah.
like, why am I seeing this? All right, let's see what this fucking asshole has to say. And then you read it like I feel emptier inside.
By knowing that Mark McNally really likes The Dark Knight.
And the Big Lebowski. And I'm
That's
like, and because now I know Alex Lewitt likes the Big Lebowski, I hate it now. Ruins that movie
it
for me.
ruins that movie. I've actually never seen it.
Oh, I mean, I don't know how to describe it because like sometimes you go like, well, I was in a certain mindset when I watched it, back when I watched it, and I thought it was like brilliant
Brilliant. Yeah, yeah,
back then. And now it's almost like every time I rewatch it, which hasn't been in a long time, but I always have to reconvince myself that it's brilliant.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
But like I keep losing what I used to think. You ever feel that like you
Yeah,
watch a movie that when you were younger you thought was cool, and then you watch it now and it's douchey?
yeah, for sure. I wish I could think of like the exact movie, but I know what you're
I
talking about.
know,
Which one?
I know. For me,
Which
it's The Crow.
The Crow? Okay, I haven't
Yeah,
rewatched it. I'm sure it's bad. I'm sure that one's
dude.
bad because I know enough
When
about it.
I was when I was a boy, I watched it and I thought it was so cool. I thought it was so dark and badass. And then I rewatch it today and it's just kind of cringe
Yeah, yeah,
and the
yeah,
action scenes are kind of like, I don't know, embarrassing
yeah, yeah, yeah.
in a sense. But it was for its time. But I mean, yeah, that's
Okay,
one where I go, oof.
I'll say that. I don't think in every way. I watched this video where this guy, this like kung fu choreography guy, he explained. Actually, what am I saying? I think it was Jackie Chan. I'm just saying some random kung fu guy. Jackie Chan was explaining why a lot of American movies have bad fight scenes in movies or whatever, and he was saying they hide good choreography with a lot of camera switching, right? So
Sure.
you don't actually, if your eyes, you think something's happening, but you're really not watching much, right? Besides that, I think in general, fight scenes, we started requiring actors to like do them properly and train for them for months on end before they do them. You forget that back in the day, if you weren't Jean-Claude Van Damme or Chuck Norris, they weren't doing that like prepping or whatever.
Well,
So
yeah.
you look back at fight scenes, you watch them, and they're terrible. They're all terrible. I bet you more than just the Crow. Some of them are really bad.
No, yeah, and like you said, those guys complain about the new age fight method of like because like the quick cuts
Yeah,
and
yeah,
like the like close up shots of it, like they think it intensifies it, and with some sound like the
yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
and all that intensifies the scene, making it seemingly more brutal. And they're complaining because yeah, it's fun to watch like guys actually go at it and choreograph and try to land it. It's almost like watching perfect wrestling
Yeah, yeah,
where
yeah.
but then not even every so often, oftentimes in these same ways of filming fight scenes, you'll see a guy throw a punch that clearly doesn't hit the guy and makes like the punchy sound. So, you kind of like you go like, "Hey, that looks so fake." So to try to stop that whole like, "Oh, it looks clearly fake," they do the quick cut thing
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
because it's easier to sell. But it's like what they're doing in comedy now. Like with their edits, with what they put on online, and sell themselves as funny comedians. Is it's that quick cut version of action films. So only put videos of themselves when audience is laughing, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and that
yeah.
could be that
That's
uncomfortable
true.
laugh of like that. Like the magic of editing is that you could look like a complete asshole, like with the full unedited version. but with the edited
Yeah,
version, you could
yeah,
look like you probably survived a good bombing on stage, you know?
yeah,
So that's what they do, man. They're not that good.
yeah.
Like,
That's interesting because I do know editing wise, you could you could say a joke that is not funny but more outrageous, and you have a final line that goes, let's go with that's why pussy smells, right?
yeah,
And then in the video, there's no laugh after that because no one laughed.
yeah,
But if you end the video, cut right there,
yeah,
people who are watching it on TikTok or whatever, they're gonna think, "Oh, this guy's outrageous." And if you
yeah.
all your videos are like that, I think you can build some views because they think, "Oh, he says outrageous stuff on stage," when really zoomed out, he just bombed. But you didn't. He cut out the laugh that didn't happen.
And that's all editing is. It's just lying.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's withholding certain truth. It's just like making a murderer. Stephen Avery was clearly framed. You know what I mean? And just like these comedians, they're framing themselves, but the crime of being a good comedian,
Yeah,
you know? So
yeah.
that's what I'm learning. You
It
know,
came
I'm
a
gonna
little
start
round.
invest
It came around all circle.
I'm gonna start investigating, like, open my own like private investigator for but for I'm gonna investigate comedians. I'm gonna go around and make sure they're either not stealing jokes or they're not pedophiles. One or the other.
One or the other. Hopefully
Yeah,
both. When you find out,
yeah, they're
hopefully
both.
you're.
Yeah, I'm gonna.
I didn't expect that
Yeah,
second one. I should have, but I just go, "Oh, okay, joke thief. What else is he gonna say? And that they're not pedophiles.
that's right. I want to start a pedophile hunting agents, like, or just project, but include stand-up comedy, in it. And I think,
A humorous, a
yeah,
humorous
pedophile
dateline.
hunting. Yeah, exactly. And we should have a segment where we're constantly purposely framing Alex DeWitt.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, like we keep like we lure him there for
yeah,
like a
yeah, yeah. For
Tinder
other,
date or a
yeah, yeah,
Bumble
yeah.
date. But then when we show up with cameras, we're like, sir, you're here to meet a newborn.
Tiny
You're here to meet a
princess.
6-month-old child, sir. The baby let you know online that it was a baby and chase him out of like the movie theater. Yeah.
We're gonna read out some of your messages. Did you really say you want to dick her down till she says goo goo gaga? Is that you, Mr. DeWitt?
Yeah. Did you say, "Oh baby, you're making me so hard right now"? And the the victim said, "Goo goo gaga." And he said, "Oh, you're so nasty."
You're
Is
so
that you?
nasty.
Did you say that? Yeah.
You know what appeared on my feed is I got a little overlap because I used to watch a lot of those Datelines, and then you can watch them on YouTube now, where like To Catch a Predator. But then I also watch these like true crime breakdowns of like how a cop. They're mostly confessions, right? So how they got them to confess. So the person takes the entire uh, cop interrogation and then they break apart. Oh, these are parts where the person made a mistake and whatever, whatever. And then by the end of it, usually they confess. And I finally had an overlap because they take one of the videos is for one of the guys who was in To Catch a Predator, now being
Mm,
interrogated by the cops to like prove that he really is a pedophile. And I'm
yeah.
so excited to watch it. I can't wait. He was the teacher guy. If some people were a fan of To Catch a Predator, there was a teacher guy. That was
They're big fans of it.
yeah.
Yeah.
He's out of jail just like R. Kelly. They got signed. Woo! Woo!
Nah, dude, these catch a predator videos that I'm seeing now online, they all now include assaulting the predator.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Remember when back in the day it was just recording them
No,
and
that's
calling the
done.
cops? No, now these guys are like homeboys.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah, yeah. Those are done now. Oh man, he froze. That's an awkward picture for freeze too. This is a perfect
It's probably
example.
like
Yeah, yeah. Sorry, you froze for a second.
probably like
Just go back a couple words and then start talking.
hmm. All right.
Well, you were talking about them being assaulted.
Well, there's one I saw recently where it's an older guy, mid 60s. He's being like sort of surrounded by camera people, and some guy on the streets walking by, some Spanish guy. And they're like, you're a predator. This and that.
Yeah, yeah,
And the essay's like, wait, what? What is this for? Why are you guys following? Who is this? And then
yeah,
right when he finds out like what's happening, he's like, I got kids, and then just knocks him out on the street,
yeah.
pops him right in the face,
Oh
lifts,
yeah.
gets him off his toes, and he just drops this old man. Yeah, dude, I liked it. I was
Oh
like,
yeah, you
yes,
yeah,
yeah,
like,
I
comment,
want to see
and
more of this.
subscribe.
Yeah, yep. I think I'm following like two of those accounts, like
Two
of
pedo
just
beatdown
beating up
accounts.
pedos. Yeah, like because that's the thing that's like we always wondered watching those videos, how do you hold back on not beating these guys up?
Yeah,
And
because
now
you're
they're doing it, so it's satisfying. You go, oh, I finally got I what was missing on in this content
yeah,
is
yeah.
actually beating the shit out of these guys. Mm.
I I think you at the Dateline ones, it's just there's so much production around you. There's so much people behind the scenes, behind the camera, whatever, that I think it's like it's just not the thing. But these ones are done so independently where it's just you and your
And a
boys
phone.
holding a phone like this,
Yeah, exactly.
filming it. So it's like easy for it to feel like real life
Yeah,
and like
there's not some soulless boom mic
oh
operator that's
yeah,
just
it's
back there, like staring at you. Like, I'm just doing my job, man. I don't care if
yeah,
you're a pedophile. I just need to
yeah.
get the good
Don't
sound
care.
of you sounding ridiculous. Yeah.
I assume he does not say, I don't, I'm just doing my job, man. I don't care if you're a pedophile.
Nobody has that vibe
Yeah,
where he's
yeah,
just
yeah.
like there to do his job. Because all of them, the camera guy, the producer on site, the boom mic, they should all be cursing you out, but they let obviously the host do it.
Yeah, yeah. I would at least use my boom mic to nudge the guy in the face while he's being interviewed.
Just
Like he's,
humiliate him more.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
Like he's like, oh no, I didn't know how old she was, but and
Boom,
it's just
boom,
knocking
boom.
him in the face.
It's making that boom mic noise of
Yeah,
interference.
yeah. Yeah, on the camera. You're,
No, it's I like how the world is turning right now.
uh,
Yeah,
violent
it's
to
becoming a little
pedophiles.
bit. Well, I mean, I don't know how that's never been like. Remember Punch a Nazi? The people who go
No.
around saying there's a Punch a Nazi campaign.
Oh
Like, there's
no.
never been an active punch a pedo, stab a pedo like campaign. If there ever should have been one,
Yeah.
and I mean like
Gotta go punch
convicted
a pedo.
pedophile.
It's the
Yeah,
PP. There's alliteration
yeah,
there.
yeah. What's it called? I remember like I asked my girl, "What's the when you make up like a slogan that's like punch a pedophile?" It's like a PP.
Yeah, yeah,
Like what's that like that way of what's it called? And she called it onomatopoeia. I believed it.
That's the best feeling is when your girlfriend's dumb, but you're dumber. So neither of
Yes.
you can call each other out. You're like,
But then it's like what she called it a liter babe, what was that onomatopoeia shit? It's alliteration
it's
apparently.
alliteration. Yes. I don't need,
Yeah.
I've heard, actually, I can't say I'm smarter because even as you're saying onomatopoeia, I can't be like, no, that means this. You think,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
know you're thinking of alliteration, but I also can't correct you on what an onomatopoeia is.
But you know it's wrong. You
Yes,
know
I know
it's
it's
terribly
wrong.
wrong.
I know it's wrong, but I cannot correct what an
Yeah.
I'm gonna look it up. Uh, uh,
Yeah.
see, and here's another problem where I'm dumb.
How do you
You're about
spell
yeah,
onomatopoeia?
mon.
Yeah,
No,
how do you Google onomatopoeia?
okay.
Oh, I hope you land on some child pornography site and you end up on a
Yeah,
watch list.
onomatopoeia.com is the dark
Yeah,
web.
onomatopoeia. It's the most brutal. online child pornography site.
Uh, oh, I know this. Um, so an onomatopoeia is a word that becomes like real, and but it means a sound. So they give examples here. Like cuckoo means like crazy, or sizzle, like as the sizzle that
Hmm.
started as like, oh, it's making a sizzling sound, but that wasn't a word. That's an onomatopoeia, is because I guess sizzle is supposed to sound like sizzle.
Oh, what about like dum dum da dum da da dum? Does that mean death in onomatopoeia?
That's a song.
Oh,
Is this an onomatopoeia? Celebrate good time. Come, is that an onomatopoeia? No.
don't worry.
That's the most famous
Be happy. Is that an
onomatopoeia.
onomatopoeia?
Oh my
Yeah, dude.
God, that's funny. I did prep and a couple videos. One is more something we could talk about. We don't even need to play the video, but apparently Jeff Bezos and his I forget what his space Blue Origin, his like that's his version of like SpaceX,
Okay.
sent a rocket into space, which is the first time that's happened in a long time because the government doesn't want to pay for like NASA rockets anymore. How do you feel about us going back into space and it's being
I don't
funded?
believe that we can.
You don't believe
I don't believe. I
you
don't
don't
think that
believe in
we've ever.
space.
I don't think we ever have. I mean, I believe that. I mean, we're protected by a certain pocket that shouldn't be penetrated. I feel like the Earth and its atmosphere reminds me like of a bubble,
Uh-huh.
and we live within a bubble type of environment.
Yeah.
And if we actually were to puncture our atmosphere, it would probably not be good. I mean, I think maybe in certain layers it'll be fun, but I always feel like you're about to pop the bubble,
Yeah.
and then what happens is we lose gravity, we all start to float towards nothingness of it's like imagine being a creature at the deepest depths of the ocean,
Yeah.
and there are these bubbles that hold entire universes inside them because they're so not fucked with, they're so unexplored, but you're the tiniest organism on like let's say a planet, but this is if you live within it, how the fuck would you know? No. So I mean, like I go like the planet is probably surrounded by like what's a bubble layer of atmosphere. Because apparently, if we go past this layer, then we can't breathe. It's super cold. It's
Yeah.
space and vastness. So I go, well, maybe we can't leave the planet because if we didn't, that would puncture the hole. I don't know. I'm just
So you saw the Basil's
yeah.
rocket and you go, no, you're gonna puncture the
Don't do
hole.
it. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Exactly.
I
Yeah, and I've
believe
always yeah.
I believe that we've been to space and the moon and stuff like that. I'm a believer in that. But I do
Prove it.
I I can't prove it. Well, I
Mm.
can show you the video of Bezos having a video of rockets going, but I think especially now it's really hard to get people who don't believe. It's hard to get them to believe because our technology in terms of mimicking things in movies and stuff is so good that it's like, you know, it's
Well,
so
a
easy
lot
to
of
forget.
like what helped create our reality is what we've been influenced by in movies. Um, it's like it's the ultimate form of reinforcing stereotypes or anything like is movies and Hollywood entertainment because it's a reference point. Sometimes like the only reference points I have of like an African country is like, oh, it's dirty, it's dry, it's
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
poor, it's full. Those are my only. But then there's some places you look in Africa, you look in these countries, and they're like
Lush forest.
beautiful,
Yeah,
and
yeah,
yeah, and they're like fucking modern, and they're but like my only thing that I had as like an example that was given to me was through
The
some
Lion
movie
King.
that was irresponsibly
Yeah, 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 yeah.
allowed to show me a story that involved black people just being dangerous and scary,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
even in their own country. And then
Even
they
in the
come here.
own original,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Well, it's like it's the same thing where like they'll you watch movies that take place in different Latin American countries, and you just go, "Oh man, that's crazy!" Like I've never
Yeah.
seen a Brazil movie that wasn't filmed at the favelas, but Brazilians watch those and go, there's a Starbucks downtown. Like
Yeah.
you can show
Yeah.
those too, but they don't.
But no, it's just like that movie Hostel. Remember Hostel? It
Yeah,
was
yeah,
like
yeah,
old horror movie, but like from when we were teenagers, and they filmed in Prague, but for whatever reason they were able to sell to American audiences that like somewhere in Slovenia, like one of those like fucking Latvian,
yeah,
Slovak like countries that there's still a civil war going on,
yeah,
and that
yeah,
these
yeah,
people
yeah.
over there were selling tourists to rich billionaires to get tortured, like what I mean. So and people believed it. People like like they had no, they just assumed that that's what happens in those countries. So much so that the director and writer of the movie was invited by the Czech Republic or whatever, their prime minister to
Yeah,
come,
yeah,
hey, look, our country's not like this. Because I guess it gave them bad tourism
yeah,
for
yeah,
like a
yeah.
while, where they're like, no, this is just a horror movie. They use your American ignorance to scare you.
To scare
We're
you
not
and
kidnapping
sell
tourists. It's a
tickets. Yeah,
beautiful country,
yeah,
which I think is awesome. I'm like, that's great. Where you pick a certain spot on the planet that seems scary. You could convince people it's
yeah, yeah.
scary,
And then it play.
but it's really beautiful and everyone's nice.
You know what's the best part of that too? Is
Yeah,
this is the even worse thing they do is they go, okay, we're gonna have this movie Hostel, right? And it's gonna take place in Prague, but we're gonna make it really grungy and dirty because people get kidnapped here every day and stuff.
yeah.
And then Prague is already insulted, but then they film it in like fucking Detroit. And they go,
So it looks like extra shit.
it looks shitty. So that's not even. It's not Prague. It's Detroit.
It's
So you know,
America.
yeah, yeah.
That'd be brilliant.
Look how shitty.
That's really good.
Detroit,
No, it's
Czechoslovakia is.
but it's the beauty of filmmaking, man. Like, and which is editing, which is
Yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
you get to dictate how it's narrated.
Hmm.
You know, um, yeah. So like, but I noticed also too is like sometimes even like if something's edited or tampered with,
Yeah.
uh, sometimes the actual story, some people don't even want to listen to it.
What do you mean?
Like,
Explain.
meaning, for example, our most recent departed co-host, Matt Baxter,
Uh-huh.
probably has like a lot of reason to why he's like he got under like a lot of people's skin recently and all that shit.
Sure.
Now, what I'm trying to say is like you could get the full picture with him, why he did it, and still not care
Yeah, yeah,
about
yeah.
like you still go, oh, I get it, but whatever. I mean, because so even in an edited way, oh, he did it because of this, soundbite, because of
Yeah,
that.
yeah,
So
yeah, yeah,
to
yeah.
try, you're still not going to agree with it anyways. You know what I mean? So like sometimes we just support our friends. Like I was on Facebook recently and I saw uh have you been seeing what's going on with Al Val and his face?
Yeah, I saw something about it.
I don't
I
know
just
what
know he
surgery he
got in
got.
like a
I'm
nose
something
job or
on the
something.
list for
Eh?
sure,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
his face has been butchered and it's like currently healing. You know what I mean?
Sure. Yeah, yeah.
And you know how I feel about the whole my I guess opinion on the trans thing. I think it's a mental illness. I see Alval
Yeah.
doing all
Unless they're
this, and
hot,
it's to me it's
then
a
it's not a
result.
mental illness. If they're hot,
I'm
it's
like
not
to
a
me it's
mental
a
illness.
I'm like to me it's a result of extreme self-hatred, extreme self like detachment from reality, and this is a result of it. And I see people liking it and like commenting, "Oh, you're so brave. You're good for you." All this shit, and I'm
Yeah.
looking at like, dude, this poor guy needs help. Like this is not a way to help him.
Yeah, yeah,
But
yeah.
then I find myself looking at Matt Baxter freestyling and doing his coach master thing and me liking it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. I know what you mean.
You
And
know?
you're right. It's just because whoever we're down with, we
Yeah.
support
We
no
support
matter
their mental
their
illness.
mental, yeah, because it
And
also
you know
some
what? Yeah.
oh, I was just gonna say some mental illness is also in support of our beliefs anyway. You know what
Yeah.
I mean? Like I like here's a perfect example. I like the Raptors, right? Now, a mentally ill guy can go to the games and wear jerseys and everything and like make a fool of himself. But I go, yeah, but he's a fan of my team, you know? So if a
Yeah.
mentally ill guy comes out and says,
Yeah.
this guy Lee hates is a bitch, and
Yeah.
also I do these other things that are mentally ill, you're still gonna go, yeah, but he dislikes who I dislike, so I'm also in support of that. That's why we're
And
all
you know, and
not
also
always
like just
honest, but we're there's a reason
but
for
here's the
it.
thing too, it's like mental illness, I'm like I don't really believe is an actual real thing. I believe in
Well,
like there are people who behave in a way that confuses others but makes sense to them, and they still act accordingly to societal rules, like you don't kill, you don't murder, you don't do weird, creepy, dangerous shit.
yeah, yeah,
And then you got people who cross the line, who do creepy, murderous, weird, violent
yeah,
acts, and
yeah,
they're not mentally ill. These fuckers are dangerous.
yeah, yeah.
Like
Oh, you're
I
saying
hate now giving mental illness this props or this importance like it deserves it. It doesn't. You got people who are quote unquote seemingly mentally ill, but they're just weird people. And then you got people who are dangerous and need to be exterminated or like put away far from regular society because they're dangerous. So
yeah.
I don't know.
I I look at that as more as like I kind of agree with you, but I also don't want to throw the baby out with the bathwater or whatever that expression is, because I do think it's fun to in an argument call somebody else. Maybe we shouldn't use mental illness anymore. We should go back to crazy. Like you're nuts, you know?
Yeah.
I think that should still be a thing because it's just fun in an argument to be like, "Hey, you're acting like a crazy person."
I think you
But
should use. You're being really stupid and ugly right now. I think if we went back to your,
went
oh
back
my
to
God, you're really stupid and ugly.
you're stupid ugly. Your brain is stupid.
Because they're like, oh, I don't want to be ugly
I don't want to be ugly.
nor stupid. I like back up your point, or you're stupid and ugly.
You know what's funny about you saying that though is you said it right after you said that people who are trans are mentally ill. So you're next to each other. You make no sense.
I don't claim to.
Uh,
I try to make my thoughts like with how I try to describe them as the make the most sense as I possibly can.
yeah, yeah.
But sometimes
I
I really am just trying to describe a feeling.
yeah, I that I'm fine with. I think I get even me, I think I annoy people sometimes because I'm
Oh
we're
yes, you do.
debating. Oh, yes.
Very much so.
We're debating, but I can't verbalize of just a general feeling I'm having of, hey, I don't like what's going on here, but I can't really tell you why. It just gives me an icky, I don't like this feeling. Um, but I was gonna say also when you were talking about the likes, like, you like Mac Baxter posts, but they like the Alval post, but like, maybe both sides or neither should be supporting whatever. I get that point, right? But I think also the likes are kind of there's a lot of on the internet, you click like on things that you don't even really read and stuff. Like I think
But to me, that like there's still a tell in it. Like the even the action of like going to it and liking it, even if it was subconscious or not, you still made the decision to support whatever this post was. And
yeah,
maybe you
yeah.
didn't even watch the post, you just saw who posted it and blindly supported it, which I've done
Yeah,
with my
that's what I'm
buddies, with
saying.
my
Sometimes you
friends.
blindly
I just blindly support the madman that I care about.
Okay, yeah, yeah, yeah.
It's like sort of like supporting a candidate. Now, like, dude, I'm gonna come clean about this whole Trump shit that with me or whatever. Trump
What?
just
Well, I
always
don't know what you're
let
talking
me let,
about. Okay, I'll
let
let you
me
go. You're saying I gotta complete. I just want to say, we haven't talked about you and Trump in like a million episodes. I have no idea what you're talking about. Come clean, but go ahead.
fair enough. But now that I've brought this up
Yeah, yeah.
pointlessly, I will
Okay.
say I don't trust anybody in
Including.
office
Yeah, yeah,
or
yeah, yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
like I love supporting him because I don't support anything like in this arena because I feel like it's all controlled by the same hand. But he's doing a damn better job than everyone else of keeping me asleep. Everyone else was I was on high alert, like, no, they're corrupt. They're doing Trump actually does things that I like and I support, but I know he's part of it.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
my whole
Yeah, yeah.
thing is like, listen, I'm just enjoying. Okay, there's a scene in The Simpsons that's taken from an old movie where a guy's riding a nuclear bomb
Yes,
all the
yes, I
way to the
know.
Earth.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I know
That's
that
how I
scene.
feel about my support with anything related to politics, is I'm
Yeah, yeah.
just riding the nuclear bomb. I know it's gonna blow up. I
Mm,
know there's no hope. I know, but I'm gonna have fun riding the fucking bomb. Uh, because I
I
know I know it's gonna detonate anyways.
I don't think you and I have like a lot of similarities in our personality, right? I think one that I do
Right. I
have
am
is
charming and charismatic.
yes,
Yeah.
that's right. Well, I got to tell you something about charming people in a second. Um,
Sure.
Actually, I'll just tell you the short form is somebody recently texted me that their girlfriend believes Charlie Paradise to be extremely charming.
Oh
So I
yeah.
just want to throw that out there. Just I just want to mention there's no
Dude,
more to the story. They just listened to the
doesn't that
podcast
make
and they
you want
thought,
to do the fucking documentary more now?
"Oh yeah, 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 yeah." But yeah, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, the one thing I have a little bit. I think you have it to a more extreme level, but I don't like when people try to tell me what to think and what's right. You know?
Yeah.
So if you tell me uh this is bad and this is good, I do feel the need to go, well, uh you're just telling me that. How can I just believe you or whatever? I guess
Yeah.
question it is the term. So I always felt like even some early on back in the day, way way way, when somebody jumped out of my car and never talked to you again, when you were talking about Trump, I felt like at the time you were just being a little counter culture to the frenzy that was going on to hate the guy. So it's not that you thought this guy's a genius. It was stop telling me he's a bad guy and your people are good people.
Yeah, there's some I mean that's pretty valid. I just have always been kind of like I didn't like uh anybody, friends or family or anything telling me what to think.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
anytime I felt that I would naturally just go to the opposite because I think it always just ended up in a situation where it challenged people to like reinforce what they believed and what they thought I had to believe too. Because I never really try so hard to have an opinion based on what I'm reading because I believe that well, most of what I read to is lies. I feel like somebody wrote this, somebody has a agenda, somebody has a reason to just put out raw honesty and truth out there.
Yeah, yeah.
I think it's rare. So I go about it that way. I go like I like to be a challenging person with things like that and things that I'm like hearing too much. Love this, just love that.
Yeah,
There's
yeah.
no reason why you shouldn't love this. And then I'm like, no, now this is telling me not to love it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, like there's I don't like overselling of something. I like to have a feeling about it. I have to hear something like I like that until I don't. But if too many people try to reinforce and it's just like again, the whole and this just brings Trump to mind because I go, I put things out there that makes it seem like I love Trump. And there's a lot of things about the man that I do really like,
Yeah.
but I don't trust. It's like that uncle that gives
Uh-oh.
money, but you
Uh,
know is slimy,
uh-huh.
but he's cool with you. He's done great, cool
Yeah,
things,
yeah,
but
yeah,
you
yeah,
know
yeah.
there's something about this son of like there's something. Uh, there is a distrust. I think he is potentially a grand master wizard,
I think a lot
unlike
of
the world
people
has
think
ever
he's a
seen.
grand wizard.
Yeah, he's in a few realms,
Yeah,
a
yeah.
few circles. It's funny. You ever hear that like when Trump got into office originally, all these witches tried to curse him, but then they all came back and said he's got a shield on him.
Oh, really?
Our curses don't work. And then like there's like a fucking later conspiracy that yeah, Trump is just like a high level warlock. You know, he
I didn't
has
hear
a
about this
shield
one.
of protection around him. He's like the seal of he's like King Solomon. He's got demons protecting him.
Here's my idea of Trump is that because like I go see my mother-in-law a lot and she has the news on all the time. So I don't watch a lot of news, but I catch here and there like things he's done
Just
already and
background noise. Yeah.
yeah, yeah, yeah. And here's my thing is that I do think a lot of people on the left are right. He's not the best person to run a country. He could be corrupt and he could be kind of dumb. But then I look at it like if he's that bad, you need to be embarrassed that you presented someone less likable than this weirdo. I do think he's a weirdo, and you guys
Yeah.
could not. So that's why I look at it as like they're just both sides are dumb because
Well, both sides are disgusting and vile to a degree.
yeah,
You're like, but here's the thing: is like, uh, why is it that here's all that tells me is that the opposing side to Trump is more disgusting than Trump himself. Because if you're trying to highlight all of Trump's shortcomings
yeah, yeah.
and what a gross, like sort of like misogynistic, racist, whatever, and your side still loses, your side looks even more disgusting and foul than somebody like Trump. So I mean, like the leftists, like the extreme left, with all their gay politics and like inclusivity, and stand up for the illegal immigrant out there, which it's destroying your fucking country, and you're trying to make everybody gay and trans. That's more foul than Donald Trump and his idea of America. So you
Well,
go, the people have decided that whole gay reality upside down world that these people want to push on your kids and all
yeah,
that,
yeah.
that's more disgusting than the other
I
side. I'd rather go the other side because it reminds us more of of home America than that side.
we're not
So you
American.
gotta
Oh, you
say,
mean yeah, yeah, yeah.
obviously.
Uh,
Yeah, no, the
I
left has gone too far. That's
I
all it
don't
is. They've
think
gone way too far and they can never win again with those politics.
well, with
They
those,
have to
okay,
regroup.
so I don't think they're more disgusting. I don't. I still think both parties are they're probably not even opposed to each other. They're Coke and Pepsi. They're both giving us diabetes, but they're some of us like Pepsi and some of us like Coke. I think all that really happened is the Democrats and the left-wing people and for Canada, the more liberal and NDP followers or whatever, those leaderships bet on, hey, if I say these things, let's call it A and B. If I say A and B, I think I'm gonna win. I'm betting on this is gonna make me win. And Trump, and then I guess Pierre Poilievre on the Canadian side goes, actually, I'm gonna bet that if I say C and D, I'm gonna win.
Hmm.
Meaning I'm going to say let's close up the border, they're just betting on what will get them to win. And Trump was right. He won the bet. He's not I don't think he's right in that his decisions are for sure going to make the country better, but he was right in winning an election is one skill and it doesn't mean the country's going to run better after that. It's just a skill, just like how, in some years the Democrats won, and that's a skill, to
I
win.
think it wasn't fair for Trump when he took when he was in office. That's when they sprung the COVID thing. I always feel that
Okay,
that
now
was
we're getting into
purposely done to
released at
fuck
that
with
time.
his presidency. Yes.
Well,
I,
I
I actually thoroughly believe that it was too much of a coincidence, and then they preemptively pardoned Biden. Like, why are you preemptively pardoning a guy who
no
hasn't
no
been charged with anything yet,
no 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 no
unless
they
you knew of his criminal activity?
no, you're mixing it up. They Biden preemptively pardoned Fauci. I actually
Oh,
had that as one
Fauci.
of our videos. Yeah,
Wait, who
yeah.
did I say?
You said Biden was pardoned, but Biden is the one pardoning, and he pardoned Fauci, which
Barring
I saw
Fauci.
that I actually. Just so you believe me, we're already at an hour anyway, so I won't even
Yeah.
like take it. But I'll show you, just so you believe me. I'll share my screen for 2 seconds to show you it was already one of my videos. I don't know if you can
Yeah.
see this
Let's
now.
watch it.
Here, uh, Biden pardons Anthony Fauci because I already knew. Like I saw this and I thought
It's like,
that's
what the fuck are you pardoning?
yeah, yeah.
What are you
What
pardoning? I'm
I did.
telling
That's what
you.
I thought. What would you go? I'm just gonna before I leave, pardon this guy just in case.
Exactly.
Just in case
So that's
what?
Yeah, exactly. So if Trump's like, no, like I don't give a fuck about the pardon. We're bringing you up on new charges.
Yeah, yeah. That's what I also was. I don't know the American system enough that I was like, I do know that for some murder cases because I watched so many like true crime or whatever, is that they have these deals that they can make where it's like make the person admit to every crime they've ever committed and they get that deal. But the problem is, if they ever in the future, outside of that session, admit to other crimes that they forgot to say in that session, they can be charged on those crimes, right? So, for example, or even if they mention the crimes again, they can be charged. So, the guy who was charged with killing Tupac, like whatever, a couple years ago, that's what happened. Is he
Phil
sat in a
Knight.
session and talked about the murder, but
Yeah.
they weren't allowed to charge him on him because that was the deal. But then when he went and talked about it in his book and in interviews, then it was said. I think other things were said, and it was outside of that deal. So maybe they can get Fauci on. But I don't know how that pardon works. Is it a blanket
Well,
pardon?
the
Like
court system,
if we
like
find out he
anything that
murdered somebody?
pertains, well, anything that's like law, like sort of like base, like we're like, oh, now this is in the hands of the courts
The
or
course,
whatever.
yeah,
It's all like legal system rules and jargon, where like watching, for example, this making a murderer shit. And even like I saw a documentary about the Central Park Five, where they like interrogate these minors, like they literally like interrogate them.
yeah, yeah,
They
yeah,
push them towards like admitting to things that they didn't do,
yeah, yeah,
admitting
yeah.
to things that they never seen, without an attorney or like a
An adult
parent,
present, yeah,
right?
yeah,
And then this gets convictions, and this ruins people's lives. Where I go like, I'm not mad at that. I could picture a fucking cop who is like bullying a kid
yeah, yeah,
into a
yeah,
confession. That I don't have a problem with. It's when it gets to the court and they look at the detail.
yeah,
And if
yeah,
everything has to be played by rules, and you're like, hey, what do you mean to tell me you have 12 hours of a confession from a 12-year-old
yeah,
with
yeah,
no lawyer or legal guardian present?
yeah, yeah,
This is
yeah,
not admissible in court now. That's where I get mad. I go, how is this admissible now?
yeah, 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 yeah.
This is
Yeah, I agree.
illegal.
This is illegal.
This is
Yeah,
not allowed. Like, I
that's a
don't
good point.
mind the guy breaking some kid's balls for 48 hours with no food or bathroom
Yeah,
break.
yeah, yeah.
I don't care about that. I want right when it gets to trial for them to look at it and go, hey, you tortured this kid
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
we can't allow this in court. You can't use this anymore. Like, how is that not a thing? Like, why doesn't that happen? That's what I don't like about it.
Yeah, I mean, I guess
It's unfair. It's rigged.
maybe it happens sometimes, but you're right. It doesn't happen probably as often as it should. I have no idea.
Yeah.
To put a cap on that, I did just by chance. I was watching some old Tough Crowd with
Yeah.
Colin Quinn, and it's funny you mentioned the Central Park Five because in an episode they debated the Central Park Five as it was like happening, right? And
Oh,
you know
so it was
that term,
live.
it was live. As yes, they were in the park filming. No, like right after it was like after the kids were convicted, but they were having the first sets of like, we don't think they did this. They had just the cops had just gotten a different guy to confess. So that had just happened. So that's why they were debating it. You know that term, which I hate all these like terms that get overused or whatever, but you know that term online you see where they say this didn't age well? Like people will put that in the
Oh
comments.
yeah, yeah,
I was watching the episode and like Colin and all the comics or whatever are arguing against Keith Robinson that like these guys did something. I mean, they were in the park at night. You know they were hooliganing around, and I'm like in my head, I'm like, this did not age well because they've proven the
yeah.
kids didn't do it.
And Keith Robinson's like, no,
Now,
man, they were just kids, man. And then they got pulled over by some cops and they got a raw deal, man.
it's like
And
I
he was
love that
right.
show, but I've never seen an example more where you're seeing a timestamp where I'm like, ooh,
Yeah,
they were wrong on
yeah.
this one, but that's okay. It's a comedy show.
Yeah, because most of the oh, this didn't age
Yeah,
well
yeah, yeah.
that I've seen is the P. Diddy scene
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
in Get Him. What is it? Get Him
Get
to
him
the
to the
Greek?
Greek. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, like they're like, oh, this didn't age well. Yeah, there's a lot of things that don't.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, yeah. Yeah, but some
look
of
at
them are
anybody's career that ended up in rape. Like, look at anything that fucking
yeah, yeah.
Roman Polanski directed or made. None of it aged well. Why? Because he's a convicted rapist.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, that's true. Everything. It's just some of them though. I can't even get mad. They are funny. Like it's funny if they catch some random actor or rapper who they have a clip of them saying, "For a couple years there, I did everything with Diddy," and you just stop it there, and it just
Yeah.
that's funny. I don't care what anyone says. That's funny.
Well, LeBron James is getting a lot of shit. Like when
Yeah,
he
yeah,
had
yeah.
that whole, hey, no, hey, there ain't no party like a P Diddy party,
Yeah.
and now people are yelling at him on the streets and videotaping it. They're like, hey, what did you mean by that shit, LeBron? Yeah,
Like I,
you're
I
trying
kind
to
of,
be like that.
I kind of think there would be a part of me that would think it's funny
Yeah,
that if we found out you were a serial killer,
yeah.
watching myself trying to explain to people that I wasn't your accomplice would be fucking
Yeah.
hilarious. Because they're like, but you did a podcast with him for 5 years. You didn't
Yeah.
know? I didn't know.
Yeah, and it's just you exiting like an SO bathroom. Like you're just like in public,
Yeah.
just
Yeah, you go in, a girl
yeah,
goes in, you go in, I
yeah,
walk out, and they have video of it,
yeah.
and I'm like,
I
I don't,
I don't know. No, but like reverse role. Anybody said, "Oh my God, did you know your co-host Daniel Sanger was a murdering pedophile rapist?" I'd be like,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah, I knew it.
Co-host admits he knew.
Yeah.
He was a monster.
And then, you know what you would do? You would take, if this is a smart thing to do if this happens, take down all of our content and then put it behind a paywall on Patreon and say
Yep.
and then you just go online and you say there was evidence throughout our podcast of things he
Yeah.
said that clearly
Yeah.
indicated he was that
There's
guy.
thousands of hours of
That,
admission here.
all you have to do is pay $5 and
Yeah, exactly.
everybody make millions.
And there's nothing there.
There's nothing. It's just me arguing with Matt Baxter. That's all
That's,
they get.
well, whatever. A nice little retirement fund right there.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. All right. So we actually this is for once where this will make us ahead by one because I did film an episode with it was with Jeff O'Brien replaced you as co-host, and we
Hmm.
talked to Anil Bandakavi.
Oh,
Uh,
good.
yeah, yeah, yeah. It was cool. We hung out at Rivals or whatever. But yeah, anything to add before promote or whatever?
I just want to promote the new location of Keys Comedy Club, which
Oh yeah.
is the old Royal spot. I don't even want to like reference the other spot that came up after that.
No. You got to say two. There was two.
There's two of them. Yeah. Well, okay, I'll reference one, Killbox, which lasted a week and a half. And another one. But Keys is up and running, stronger than ever. People should support that venue, regardless of how disgusting.
Wait. Stop. You said shouldn't. People should support that venue.
Should
Should.
support.
Yeah, you said shouldn't.
Should.
Should.
I did?
Yes. Yeah, I'm pretty sure there was a T there. Maybe I'm wrong. Go to Keys Comedy. It's at the back
Go
of
to
Zesty
Keys.
Burgers. If you look up Zesty Burgers, I'm sure if you search Keys, you'll find it as well. But go to the back of Zesty's Burgers, which is roughly Ossington and Bloor, west of there, right before you hit Dufferin.
Yeah, it's between Ossington and
Dufferin.
what's that fucking
No, Dufferin. Isn't it before Dufferin?
Dufferin.
Yeah. Yeah, so in between Ossington and Dufferin on Bloor, you'll see Zesty Burgers. You go past them to the back. There's a curtain, and you have Keys Comedy Club. Check it out and support.
That's what I'd like to promote. Yes.
Yes. All right. Thank you, everyone, for listening.
Thank you.